Okay, Ambassador, maybe regardless of the outcome of the U.S. elections, where do you see the Philippine-U.S. relations moving forward with Kamala presidency or Trump presidency?
I am very confident about the future of U.S. Philippine relations. As friends, partners, and allies, we have a lot to celebrate, and there's very strong bipartisan support in the United States for this relationship. My counterpart and good friend, Babe Romualdez, has been in the United States for, 8 years now, I think? So he has been through a Trump presidency, he's been through a Biden presidency. So when he says he's confident that there's bipartisan support, I have a lot of confidence in Ambassador Romualdez, and I echo those sentiments. We have been through a lot of transitions. In my 39 years in the State Department, I have witnessed transitions from Republican to Democrat to Republican and back and forth, and I am extremely confident that U.S.-Philippine relations will remain steadfast, remain steadfast friends and ironclad allies, as well as partners in prosperity, no matter who wins the election in the United States today.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe, Ambassador, on the defense side, on the military side, some are curious about a Trump presidency would be a big difference when it comes to supporting the Philippines in.
Well, I will go back to that bipartisan support. It's the in our democratic system, as is the case here, it's the Congress that holds the purse strings in terms of financing all of our operations overseas, whether they're civilian or military. And when you look at the foreign military financing and the support for the U.S.-Philippine military relationship, it is as many Republicans as Democrats who are enthusiastically supporting the U.S.-Philippine alliance. And that goes across the board, not just when it comes to our mill relationship, but also we are very strong partners in prosperity. We see many U.S. organizations. We look at the Luzon Corridor, the U.S. Trade and Development Agency, the Foreign Commercial Service, our commercial service, the Presidential Trade and Investment Mission, led by Secretary Gina Raimondo, who is out here. Those companies, those American companies, they're Democrats and they're Republicans. They vote all ways, and they are enthusiastic about the U.S.-Philippine relationship as partners in prosperity as well. So I'm highly confident that whoever wins the presidential election, U.S.-Philippine relations are on very strong footing.
Last question.
Could you expand on that answer a little bit and include the broader security architecture in the region, in the Indo-Pacific, including that of Taiwan?
I think when you look at the lattice work of relationships that have been built up, not just over this current administration, but before, remember, when you think about the security situation here in the Indo-Pacific, it was under the Trump administration that Secretary of State Pompeo came out and lent credence and support to the arbitral ruling that weighed in favor of the Philippines with regard to access and rights at Union Shoal, for example. So there's bipartisan support even beyond strictly the U.S.-Philippine relationship here, but looking at the international legal context and also with the lattice work of relationships, the trilateral relationship with Japan. Japan has long been an ally of the United States. The Republic of Korea in the Indo-Pacific region, as well as the Philippines, Australia, many other partners in addition to our allies. And those relationships have stood the test of time for decades. For example, the MDT, the Mutual Defense Treaty here in the Philippines, dates back to 1951. That's even longer than I've been a diplomat, even a little bit longer than I've been alive. So it's every 4 years. Yes, there are nuances that will change in any given administration, but the strength of the U.S.-Philippine relationship and of the importance of the Indo-Pacific to the American people will remain, and that is why I am confident that whoever wins the presidential election today, we will continue to see very strong bipartisan support, not only for U.S.-Philippine relations, but for our lattice work of relationships in the Indo-Pacific and globally. Thank you very much for your questions, and be sure while you're here to move around, if you will, and look at our education stations. You know, the U.S. election process is quite complicated. It's a little bit, admittedly, even a little confusing. And we have election or education stations that talk about our federal system, that talk about the Electoral College, and will give you a lot of information. I know I learn something new every election season as well, including the interesting aspects of the state and local elections, whether it's for governors, senators, our congressional representatives. At some states, the judges are also elected. So there's a lot to partake of here in terms of learning about the U.S. election process. And I also look forward to learning more about the Philippines election process as we come up to midterm elections early in this next year. So again, thank you so much for being here to celebrate not just our civic duty, but also our cherished right to vote in the U.S. elections. Thank you for being here, and look forward to continuing our conversation a little bit later.
Thank you.
Thank you.